We see clearly in our survey that 1 in 3 Europeans clearly see a declining economic situation as a consequence of the pandemic, and 50% are worried about their financial well-being overall. And that's clearly a negative trend that we're seeing in our report.
And so what action are people doing to offset the expectation of lower household income?
Well, we've seen clearly a range of actions. And I think most broadly is people are reducing spending on non-essential items. And we see some portion of the impacted groups taking a second job as and when possible. But we're also seeing that the current and the economic uncertainty that we are experiencing is clearly inspiring people to improve their financial literacy, which I think is a positive thing for the future.
Anders, I thought it was fascinating as you broke down some of the data by different geographies about who feels most concerned or stressed at this point. And a number of the countries flash up that were a part of the hard-hit group a few years back around the European financial crisis, the likes of Southern Europe, for instance. Just walk us through that.
No, absolutely. We see a clear diversion geographically as well across the groups that have been most affected. We see that countries like Spain and Italy and Greece, we see nearly 50% of respondents in our survey saying that they are seeing a reduction of income as a consequence of the pandemic. Whereas in the north of Europe, in countries like Scandinavia and Germany and Netherlands, it's more in the range of 20–25%. So it's a big divide across Europe in the impact of the pandemic economically.
Financial literacy of some groups of society has always been an element of debate. Why are we not seeing better knowledge around, the use of credit cards, for instance, savings rates, how much you need for pension liabilities down the track, and clearly around this crisis, people's budgets have been challenged, or in some cases they have improved, but there has been a big focus on just how resilient people are, and that has spurred this move towards getting more literacy. I thought it was quite fascinating where a lot of older people are relying on their banks to come up with that new knowledge for them.
I think that it really speaks to the need for and the role that both financial services firms, policymakers, and educational institutions have in providing better financial literacy generally for consumers. We see again also in the survey divide between different countries where the need is even greater in the southern European markets. But clearly, there's more that can be done there. And from Intrum's side, we speak to 250,000 consumers on a daily basis about their debts. And clearly, we see a need during the pandemic, and we have seen a need during the pandemic to spend more time talking about their financial situations to find sustainable and sustainable financial solutions for them. So there's clearly an important area for going forward.